The Franklin's Tale by Geoffrey Chaucer. Part 4 of 4. He taketh his leave, and she astonished stood, and in all her face ne'ers a drop of blood. She wonder never han come in such a trap. Alas, quoth she, that ever this should hap. For wend I never by possibility that such a monster or marvel might be. It is against the process of nature. And home she goeth, a sorrowful creature. For very fear uneath may she go. She weepeth, waileth all a day or two, and swooneth that in Routhe was to see. For why it was to no wight told she, for out of town was gone Averargus. But to herself she spake and said thus, with face pale and with full sorrowful cheer, in her complaint, as ye shall after hear. Alas, quoth she, on thee, fortune, I plain, that unware rapid hast me in thy chain. For which to escape would I ne'er succour, save only death or else dishonour. One of these two behoveth me to choose, but nevertheless yet have I lever to lease my life than of my body to have a shame. Of know myself in force, or less my name, but with my death I may be quit awise. Hath there not many a noble wife by this, and many a maiden slain herself, alas, rather than with her body do in trespass? Ye certes lo, these stories bear in witness, when 30 tyrants full of cursedness had slain Phidon in Athens at first. They commanded his daughters for to arrest, and bringing him before him in despite, all naked to fulfil her foul delight. And in her father's blood they made him dance upon the pavement. God gave him mischance, for which these woeful maidens full of dread, rather than they would less her maidenhead, they privily been start into a well, and drint himself in, as the bookers tell. They of Messany let inquire and seek of Lacedaemon 50 maidens eke, on which they wouldn't do in her lechery. But was there none of all that company that she ne slain, and with a good intent, she is rather for to die than assent to been oppressed of her maidenhead? Why should I then to die and been in dread? Loek the tyrant Aristoclides, that loved a maiden, het Stephalides. When that her father slain was on a night, unto Diana's temple goeth she right, and hent the image in her hand as too, for which image would she never go. No wight ne might her hands off it to raise, till she was slain, right in the self place. Now seeth that maidens hadn't such despite to been defouled with manner's foul delight. Well ought a wife rather herself enslay than be defouled as it thinketh me. What shall I say of Hasdrubal's wife, that at Carthage bereft herself her life? For when she saw that Romans won the town, she took her children all and skipped down into the fire, and chose rather to die than any Roman did her villainy. Had not Lucrezia slain herself, alas? At Rome, when that she oppressed was of Tarquin, for her thought it was a shame to live in when she had lost her name. The 7 maidens of Melicy also had slain themselves for very dread and woe, rather than folk of Gaul whom should oppress. More than 1,000 stories, as I guess, could I now tell as touching this matter. When Hadrabat was slain, his wife so dear herself in slow, and let her blood to glide in Hadrabat's wounds deep and wide, and said, my body at the least way, there shall no wight defoulen, if I may. What should I more ensamples hereof sayn, sith that so many han himself in slain well, rather than they would defouled be? I will conclude that it is better for me to slain myself than been defouled thus. I will be true unto Averargus, or rather slain myself in some manner, as did Domitian's daughter dear, by cause that she would not defouled be. Of Sedicus it is full great pity to read in how thy daughter died, alas, that slow himself for such manner case, as greater pity was it, or well a more. The Theban maiden, that for Nicanor herself slew, right for such manner woe. Another Theban maiden did right so, for one of Macedony had hair oppressed, she with her death from maidenhead redressed. What shall I say of Nicerites' wife, that for such case bereft herself her life? How true eke was to Alcibiades his love, that rather for to die in chase, therefore to suffer his body unburied be. Lo, which a wife was Alceste? Quoth she, what saith Homer of good Penelope? All Greece knoweth of her chastity. Body of Lidomia is written thus, that when at Troy was slain Prothesius, no longer would she live after his day. The same of noble Portia tell I may, without a Brutus could she not live, to whom she had all whole her heart to give. The perfect wifehood of Artemisia honoured is through all the Barbary. O Trouthe, queen, thy wifely chastity to all wives may a mirror be. The same thing I say of Belea, of Rodogony, and eke Valeria. Thus plained Dorigen a day or tway, purposing ever that she would die. But nevertheless upon the third night, home came Averargus, this worthy knight, and asked her why that she weep so sore, and she gan weep never longer the more. Alas, quoth she, that ever was I born. Thus have I said, quoth she, thus have I sworn, and told him all as ye had heard before. It needeth not rehearse it ye no more. This husband, with glad cheer, in friendly wise answered and said, as I shall you devise. Is there aught else, Dorigen, but this? Nay, nay, quoth she, God help me so as wise. This is too much, and it were God as will. Yea, wife, quoth he, let sleep in that is still. It may be well, peradventure yet today, ye shall your Trouthe holden by my fay. For God so wisely have mercy upon me, I had well never isticked for to be, for very love, which that I to you have. But if you shall hold your Trouthe keeping safe, Trouthe is the highest thing that man may keep. But with that word he burst anon to weep, and said, I you forbid upon pain of death that never while thee lasted life ne breath to noon white tell thou of this adventure. As I may best I will my woe endure. Now make no countenance of heaviness, that folk of you may deem in harm or guess. And forth he clepered a squire and a maid. God forth anon with Dorigen, he said, and bringeth her to such a place anon, they take her leave, and on her way they goen. But they no wist why she thither went, he knowed no white telling his intent. Peradventure an heap of you, wise, will holden him a lurid man in this, that he will put his wife in jeopardy. Hearkeneth the tale, or ye upon her cry. She may have better fortune than you seemeth, and when that ye han heard the tale, deemeth. This squire, which that hight Aurelius, on Dorigen that was so amorous of adventure happened her to meet amid the town, right in the quickest street. And she was bound to go in the way forthright toward the garden there as she had hight, and he was to the garden ward also. For well he sped when she would go out of her house to any manner place. He sallied her with glad intent, and asked of her whitherward she went. And she answered half as she were mad, unto the garden as mine husband bade, my Trouthe for to hold, alas, alas, and in his heart had great compassion of her and of her lamentation. and of Averargus the worthy knight, that bade her holden all that she had hight, so loath him was his wife should break her Trouthe. And in his heart he caught of this great Routhe, considering the best on every side, that for his lust yet were him lever abide, that doing so high a churlish wretchedness against franchise and all gentilesse. For which in few words said he thus, Madam, say it to your lord Averargus, that sith I see his great gentilesse to you, and eke I see well your distress, that him will lever and shame, and that will Routhe. Then ye to me should break thus your Trouthe. I have well lever ever to suffer woe, than I depart the love betwixt you two. Are you release, madam, and to your hand quit every cerement and every bond that ye had made to me as here before. Such the like time which that ye were born, my Trouthe I plight, I shall ye never reprieve. Of no behest then here I take my leave, as of the truest and the best wife that ever yet I knew in all my life. But every wife beware of her behest, and Dorigen remembereth, at least, thus can a squire do a gentle deed, as well can a knight withouten dread. She thanketh him, upon her knees all bare, and home unto her husband is she fair, and told him all, as ye han heard me said, and be ye secre he was so well apaid, that it were impossible for me to write. What should I longer of this case indite? Averargus and Dorigen his wife in sovereign bliss leading forth their life. Never ne was there anger him between. He cherisheth her as though she were a queen, and she was to him true for evermore. Of these two folk ye get of me no more. Aurelius that his cost hath all forlorn, cursed the time that ever he was born. Alas, quod he, alas that I behight of pured gold 1,000 pound of white unto this philosopher, how shall I do? I see no more but that I am for dough, mine heritage mut I needes sell, and been a beggar, here may I not dwell, and shamen all my kenred in this place, but I of him may get better grace. But nevertheless I will of him say, at certain days year by year to pay, and thanketh him of his great courtesy. My Trouthe will I keep, I will not lie. With heart sir he goeth unto his coffer, and brought gold unto this philosopher, the value of 500 pound I guess, and him beseecheth of his gentilesse to grant him days of the remnant. These words heard, have I not holden covenant unto thee? Yes, certes well and freely, quod he. Hast thou not had thy lady as thee liketh? No, no, quod he, and sorrowfully he sighteth. What was the cause? Tell me if thou can. Aurelius his tale anon began, and told him all as he had heard before. It needeth not to ye rehearse it more. He said, Averargus of gentilesse had lever die in sorrow and in distress, than that his wife were out of her Trouthe false. The sorrow of Dorigen he told him also, how loath her was to been a wicked wife, and that she lever had lost that day her life, and that her Trouthe she swore their innocence she never erst had heard spoke of a parents. That made me han of her so great pity, and right as freely as he sent her me, as freely sent her to him again. This all in sum, there is no more to say. This philosopher answered, leave, brother. Ever each of you did gently to l'other. Thou art a squire, and he is a knight. But God forbid for his blissful might, but if a clerk could do a gentle deed, as well as any of you, it is no dread. Sir, I release thee thy 1,000 pound, as thou right now were cropping out of the ground, now never ere now, ne hadst known me. For sir, I will not take a penny of thee, for all my craft ne thought for my travail. thou hast paid well for my victual. It is enough, and farewell. Have good day. And took his horse, and forth he goeth his way. Lordings, this question, then, will I ask now. Which was the most free, as thinketh you? Now telleth me, that ye further wend. I can no more, my tale is at an end.